has to be undertaken, and it's with every department, every item that you spend a penny on. You really have to determine what is the wisest course to take. What's the best use of our dollars.
And it's not just a once a year process. It's an everyday process. I think your listeners might be surprised to know that Commissioner Keith reviews all the invoices one by one. And I look at the invoices also, but we're scrutinizing every one that goes through. In my past job as an auditor, we looked at all the invoices also, and we were able to catch things there. But yeah, we're diligently looking at all the expenses to make sure they're reasonable and appropriate, trying to make sure we're using those tax dollars wisely.
Yeah. So you mentioned, Mike, that it was in February when you begin to work on a budget or began to work on the current spending plan. Therefore, it basically is. It's a 12-month a year project, isn't it?
It is, and one of the reasons we started early is actually give us more time to actually dig deeper into, all the different parts of a department's budget. One of the things is, and we've asked our directors, and they've done a good job about it, but as people retire, move on, or whatever, you look and ask, the question is, okay, do we really have to fill that job again? Mm-hmm. Or can we work differently and restructure the department? And again, having more time to do that, we have ideas, but we don't know the internals of the department, so we have to be educated as why and that person or whatever did what they did. Mm-hmm. But there's times that we actually can look at it differently, and if you're somebody who doesn't see something every day, then you kind of get stuck in a rut. And someone looking from the outside with different ideas, that might spark an idea.
Yeah, absolutely. So you have to keep your eye on things such as that. Meanwhile, there are needs that need to be met, and that involves sometimes building something and sometimes repairing something.
Fixing something.
Yeah, all of those things have to happen in terms of the infrastructure that Indiana County has. And you always think of hopes and dreams. What do we need within the county to be building? Where do we stand in terms of those sorts of projects that are long-term or short-term?
Well, there's a number of projects that actually are happening, and some of them are actually closing up. But one is the airport house that we refer to as the old farmhouse out there. That was ICTC's project to actually got it and remodel it, and they're coming probably by the end of the year that'll be finished. Once that's done, our intentions are to have the Penn State Extension Office move from the 827 Annex to that building. Then after that, the only thing that's really going to be left in there is ICAP, which they're developing possibly a future, somewhere else. Indiana Borough, everybody just recently moved into their new office, and so they actually vacated the 827. So then we have to have the question is what do we do with that building? And again, it's an expense, but we have to take a really close look at it and see, is it worth the county, continuing with it? The other is Pine Ridge Park Maintenance Building. That started a little over a year ago, and Ed Patterson, the director of the parks, and along with the people out there, they're completing that project out there. That's going to finally get machinery, give them a place to work and everything under a roof. Before, everything was sitting outside.
Yeah.
Maintenance, the weather was just, it hampered the machinery and everything, and it's not good for it to sit outside. And plus, a place for it to work. You don't work on a piece of machinery in the middle of the winter out in the parking lot.
Yeah.
So that was actually done. Our courtrooms were just actually updated. Maintenance is actually finishing up the final parts of that. So a lot of those updates hadn't been seen for quite a few years. So it's really made a big difference. Along with that, the Welcome Center, as we know, it's still being worked on in the outside and the inside. I actually saw them pulling drywall to hang in through the building today. The emergency management roof, they're finally wrapping that up. They got to put the gutters on, and that'll complete that project. And new handicap bathrooms on the third floor of the courthouse. Again, that was something that's been needed for years, and actually we got together with maintenance and they made it happen.
Yeah, yeah. Bonnie, it's interesting to me, that building across the street, it looks wonderful, and it always has, but you got to realize that's an aging building, and aging buildings require maintenance, and as they age, they require more maintenance in order to keep them viable. And sometimes it's major upgrades that happen behind the walls and underneath the floors and over the ceilings. Sometimes there are things that are much more visible, but they do require an awful lot of work in order to keep them going.
So right now, we're also in the midst of a project that will upgrade the HVAC system to help with the humidity controls in the courthouse. We have we put together a records management committee, and we're looking at, we've asked all the departments, look at your records, look to see what you can get rid of appropriately, what you can move to electronic format, and what needs stored, and where are we going to store it, and are the conditions right for the place that you store it. And there's a lot to do with humidity controls.
Yeah.
We actually just submitted a grant to the Pennsylvania Historical Museum Commission to help with some of those costs. And so that's another big project coming as far as making sure that all those records are somewhere that's in the proper place, but also easily accessible, that if someone's coming in and doing research, we can pull that out and have a place for them to look at that information up.
Yeah, all of those things are things to consider when you are in a position of leadership within a county such as Indiana County. And that building has been there quite a long time.
1969.
Yeah, yeah. So it's actually a historic building. And it replaced a historic building. So it's pretty amazing that Indiana County has kept these buildings not only viable but functional for so many years. What else are we talking about with our county commissioners today?
Well, one thing that we're actually discussing right now with our court side of the county, Judge Bianco has actually sat down with us and the commissioners, and we're actually looking at a future project. We can't actually state what it is yet because it's still going through the process of getting approved, but it's a project that will, I would say, within 5 to 10 years, the county will actually start seeing a huge savings if we can actually put this into place. So again, another way that we're looking to save money, but with the cooperation of the court side, Judge Bianco and all the others, they're in the game also with us.
Yeah.
So they understand it.
Yeah, yeah, that's interesting too, that you've got officials that all across Indiana County, they understand what the picture is and what it looks like.
So something else that's coming up that we're working on, next spring is going to be a big spring for Indiana County, with the Homer City redevelopment project probably really gearing up a lot here in the beginning of the year, and so that impacts. So we have a group that's working on talking to employers to say, are you ready for that? Do you need to expand your hours? Do you need to add employees? And we're meeting tomorrow to put together some of that plan to have everyone start looking ahead. That's one aspect of next spring. The other thing with next spring is going to be the Route 22 bridge overpass, the trail overpass. That'll be completed, and we'll be doing probably a ribbon cutting or whatever. But the trail, the impact of the trail in the southern part of the county, for that connector to be in from that parking lot by the Chestnut Ridge Resort that will go down and connect to the Ghost Town and the Hoodlebug, that's going to be a big impact.
Yeah.
With a lot more people coming in, it's amazing the people that ride those trails. So that's another thing that we're gearing up for next spring.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting picture in 10 to 15 years, where that bridge actually leads to on the Blairsville end of it, because there are almost limitless possibilities.
We have ideas for that too. So when you don't you hate when somebody says we have something we can't tell you, so now we have two things we can't tell you. So that means that people have to continue to tune in and listen.
Yeah. Well, for years and years, of course, Indiana County had the bridge to nowhere.
Yeah.
And we always drove by it and we looked and we said, why? When it was completed, it made a tremendous difference for Indiana County. Projects such as this, we need patience, but we'll get things done.
Yeah.
We'll get things done. All right, there you go. We are just about out of time. Anything else folks need to know urgently?
Just remember, next week is Indiana County Fair, and along after that, you have Ox Hill Fair, and then Cookport Fair. We'll finish up the fairs in the county.
Wow.
And watch those days as to when there are free admission days on Sunday, and there is certain types of free admission for the Commissioner's Day on Monday. And
Yeah.
so look at that schedule to see when you can best get in.
Absolutely. Hey, thanks, folks.
Thank you, Todd.
You're
It's
welcome.
Indiana in the Morning.